on this episode of Bot vs. Con.
Welcome back, Transformers fans. As always, I'm James the Con.
And I'm Bobby the Bot.
And this is Bot vs. Con, where your voice is heard. And today, Bobby's voice is going to be heard because we are going to be taking a look at his Botcon experience. So I've got, the probes and the little things to get all the information out of him ready. And he's going to get shocked. Are you guys ready? I am. Are you ready, Bobby?
I think I am, but actually, let me go ahead and get back into the Botcon mood real quick. All right, there we go.
That's step one. If you guys didn't know, there is a collar on there to shock him every time he hears the wrong answer. This is the interrogation of Bobby. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Bot vs. Con. Make sure to subscribe and consider becoming a member.
All right, well, let's just get into it. And my first question is, why didn't you take me to Botcon?
See, what had happened is it was something with like the ankle monitor you have and trying to get through, security. I didn't really want those type of problems on me.
Well, I've never let that stop me before, but it was actually because Astro Train ran out of Energon. It does happen to the best bots out there. So let's just get into it. So what was the good about Botcon?
All right, so being that this was my first time at Botcon, I didn't know what to expect. I know you had talked about it for so long and raved about it, and so I went in with open eyes. And I think the thing that stood out to me was all the activities throughout the day. Like, there was a lot going on. There was games, there was which I participated in. There was panels going. I mean, there was like stuff going on at 8, 9 o'clock at night. So it was just like, still going on. So it's like you almost didn't sleep, So that usually at the other conventions, once the dealer room closes, everything else kind of shuts down. This was like a party throughout, and so that was really cool. That was really I really liked that aspect of it.
Yeah, I remember when we were interviewing Derek, that's what he said. And that really was interesting to me. And I'm glad you were able to live through it because that's completely different from what we're used to. And I do want to clarify, the Botcon Island 2 was when it was Fun Pub, sponsored by Hasbro, completely different experience. And I'm sorry you will never be able to experience that. But I'm glad you were able to experience this one first. So that's what was good. And sometimes goods are just okay. So why don't we talk about what was great? What made you go, oh boy, I can't wait to come again?
It was definitely the interaction with, friends. And I say friends, like, seeing Derek, seeing TM reviews, and having an opportunity to chat with them and other YouTubers that I've met in the past. But then also the fact of just meeting other people who I now would consider friends, and hanging out outside of the Transformers element, but going to the pub afterwards, or the camaraderie that was developed with like-minded people, and seeing people that I had just met that day. There was the Realm party, that was really cool. That was something that I didn't expect. It was a last minute type of thing, and being able to go to that and seeing how those actually go and all the people involved with that and everything that they do in the community and stuff. It was a really, really cool thing to see and be a part of. And, it made it all worth like the flight there, my delayed flight getting there and all that. It was just, the scavenger hunt, that was really cool. Getting all the pins. I mean, it was different. It was just, really different. And I hadn't been able to do that in a while. And maybe it's because I'm starting to meet more people, or we're starting to meet more people, and we're out there a little bit more. But that was, a really great experience.
Yeah, that does sound like a fun time. Lastly, what was the best thing? If you could only pick one, what would that be?
It's the fans. It's the fans. Meeting, you know, anybody who's watching this, you know, meeting the fans. That is the highlight, I think, for me at this stage. You know, James, you and I started this channel on like a. I think us starting, if we got dared to do it, I think that would be more believable than the way we actually started. You know, it was just like, who would have thought that two people who met in the customizing class would be doing a channel together? And I think that the fans that came by and said that they love the show or they like what we're doing, or that means so much to me, and that can't be replaced by any toy I buy or, you know, anything like that. It was definitely seeing people and then meeting people and them saying how much joy we bring to them. That was really I'm still beyond words on that.
That's awesome. And I'm glad to have met them as a head on a stick. So, some of it. So I appreciate it. We'll get into that later. So you did say this was your first Botcon, and you already kind of talked about how different it was to TFCon. That's the other major one that we go to. What was like the main difference? Was it that people staying out later doing, you know, cornhole and stuff really late at night, or was it just a vibe that was different?
It was actually it was a couple of things. So it's you know, it's not as big as TFCon, and I don't think that's a secret to anybody. So it wasn't overly crowded. Like, you can actually walk around and not bump into people, and you know, there was space, which was really cool. You can actually talk to the vendors. You can actually socialize. They were selling liquor in the dealer room. That was amazing. The idea was amazing.
The vendors were the ones that were supplying it too, weren't they?
I wish that would have been even better. Now that's a scavenger hunt I would like to go on. But it was, you know, that was really cool. It was really different, you know, to actually be able to, you know, buy a drink and they had like a, you know, little bar set up, so it wasn't like it was only one drink. You had a couple of options. Now, the part that sucked about it, so this is my pet peeve, is that for the special drink, I can't even, it was like an Energon drink or something. I can't even remember the name of it. I apologize. But it came in this cup. Well, they were selling the cups the night before as kind of exclusive type things, and I bought 4 of the cups. So when I got a drink, they were charging an extra $5 for the cups. And I was just like, I don't need a cup. I already have the cups. I already bought these cups. And so the bartender didn't say anything until after he made my drink. And then not only that, but you had to pay cash for the cup. And I was just like, I was like, can you just put it in the regular plastic cup that is right there, like the hotel cups? And they were like, no, we can't do that. And it was a last minute thing that they added. That was, whoever came up with that was
like, so you have 5 cups?
I have 5 cups. I meant to send you one, actually. I have a cup for you. So yeah, I only bought 1 drink because of that. I thought that was a stupid policy. And so the idea was great. The execution of it was terrible. But the games actually went on during the day. So like the Energon toss or the cornhole, that was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was just like, again, you know, at other conventions, it's kind of like, all right, you shop, you take stuff back to your room, you know, you may go back and shop some more, you go eat, you know, whatever. Whereas here, and of course, they both had panels, but like even the Blockies contest, you know, it was like ongoing. It was like humongous, and you know, the cornhole, it was just like, you know, it was rounds of it, so it was exciting. You wanted to be part of it. You were engulfed in it, and it was more than just a transaction, which I think other conventions are more like transactional.
Yes, I completely agree with you, and that's going to be interesting to experience. And I do want to give a big shout out to Sinistar for supplying Bobby with practice for the next Blockies competition.
I actually did just put together a Blocky.
Gotta keep doing it. Get faster.
So thank you.
Hey, twinsies.
Yes.
Around here somewhere. So you did talk about the Scavenger Hunt, the Energon Toss, which we'll talk about in a second. But what about the custom classes? I don't think you attended any of them.
I did not.
But did you see any of the figures, or what was going on?
I walked by and I meant to go in, and I shame on me for not doing that. So that's the part that I didn't experience. But I liked that there were so many different options for the custom figures, which was really cool. And when we were talking about this just on our news several months before I even decided to go, we were like, oh, that's really cool. There's some options of different classes you can take. And so I did miss that, but I like the idea of having multiple choices because unfortunately, while it was great meeting you at the customizing class we went to, if you don't like the figure you're doing, you're basically stuck, and you don't know what that figure is going to be until a couple of days,
a week before.
Yeah, and so you're kind of like paid into it, and then it's like surprise. Whereas with this one, you have options of which one you want to pick and what you want to go to. So I did like that.
Yeah, and I think they at least did silhouettes when we were doing it, so you could choose. A quick story: the first one that we met at, my wife said, "Please don't let it be a bumblebee," and it was a bumblebee.
Sure
so yeah, and it would have been nice to know that before. But again, I guess it's a good thing because I don't know if we'd be sitting here right now if we said, "Oh, it's bumblebee, let's move on." You probably would have done the same thing.
We probably both would have left to go do something else, so we still probably would have met.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Scavenger Hunt now. What were you hunting for?
Oh man, I had to get these pins, and to kind of show off a little bit here. This is kind of my pin collection. Awesome. So, yeah, you can see these are all the jazz pins I picked up, and it was cool because you had to do something to get each one. Now, the some required you purchasing, which was a little bit hard for me because a lot of this, like, you had to purchase something from Agabus, which is great. Go check them out. Everything they had, I already had. So to get a pin to buy something that I really don't want, but they had a panel where if you're missing a pin, you had a chance to get that pin from. Cool. So it was really cool. So you weren't necessarily limited. If you had pre-orders or things like that, you got a pin. If you went and talked to the artist alley, you can get a pin. So they encouraged the participants to go and check out the vendors and all those types of things. So it's very interactive, which I liked about it. And I didn't feel since I went, I didn't feel like I had to rush and do everything because they might sell out. They had ample amount of pins. Now they did run out of some, but I didn't feel like on Thursday or Friday I had to do like everything because I was going to miss out. And they also had Jazz, which is one of my favorite characters, so that also helped.
Now, my next question is: can you identify every single variant of Jazz that you have there?
Of course not. I can get through a lot of them though, but yeah, it was. I knew there was like G2 Jazz and
G2 Jazz. There's both of them, I think.
Yeah, Blackjack and Shattered Glass and Ricochet, I think his name is. And yeah, Cheeto Jazz. That's what we're gonna call them. So yeah, there was a lot of them, and yeah, I can't go through all of them.
The one that surprised me was the cereal box one.
The cereal box, yeah.
I'm assuming Jazz was a mail away for that cereal, or something.
I don't know. I still don't know the how they connect it. Yeah, but it was kind of cool. I had to look. When I first got it, I was also going through with my glasses on, so I was Shattered Glass Bobby or Shattered Glass Bot a lot there, and so I actually was looking at it with my glasses and took a picture of it, and then kind of zoomed in. I was like, oh, there's the Cookie Crisp. So yeah, it was really cool to see it.
Yeah, it is. Now let's get on to Cornhole. and or Energon Toss, excuse me, and you better have made this channel proud and beat everybody.
Well, so shout out to Marcellus, who was my partner. Me and TM Reviews were actually going to become partners initially, and then we couldn't do it, and so Marcellus actually needed a partner. I jumped in to do that with him, and that was cool. We actually won our first match. So I represented for the channel. Yeah. And then the next round happened, and there were some ringers in there. Let's just say that. Like when I say we got demolished, it was so bad. We didn't score a point. And typically I don't talk about these types of things, but I was an athlete, and I realized that cornhole is not a sport because I sucked at it. But Dwayne, who also I found out was a fan, we actually met prior to the game, and I believe it was his wife. And if I'm misspoken, I apologize. But a lady that he was with, besides his daughter, they beat the brakes off of us, man. I mean, they beat the brakes off of us. We couldn't stop going downhill. We had no brakes left. They beat all of them off of, and she didn't even warm up, and like every single bag hit the board. I'm like, who made her? Who is this Terminator woman here that he brought? Oh, they man, I wanted to call the cops because I think we had just got abused. It was so bad how bad they beat us, but it was a lot of fun, and yeah, it was painful. I couldn't sit down because my ass hurt. That's how bad they beat us.
Well, I think there's time. You can go ahead and practice for next week.
Oh yeah. I'm like gonna start taking classes and start like doing weightlifting of the bags just so I can make sure that I have the right technique and stuff. Yeah, we got slaughtered.
Well, let's move on. And right here you have a note about the Realm Toy Drive and an exclusive conversation with Harry. So what's going on with that? Yes.
So I had no idea about this prior to, but Kennedy's Village is a fundraiser that they were collecting toys for kids with sickle cell. And Eric B., who I had the pleasure of not only doing the panel at Botcon with, but also being on the channel with Do You Even Transform, Bro? Last week. His daughter unfortunately suffers from sickle cell and didn't know any of this. And so, there was kind of the drive to raise, to get toys for kids, because a lot of times, or sometimes I should say, they might be in the hospital during the holidays. And, that sucks, and also not only that for the kids, for the parents, that's just such a hard thing. I have a 5-year-old, so I could only imagine what that's like. So finding out, too late, I didn't bring a gift for it. So they actually, and shout out to Sam Formers, he won, and either he already had it, or of course he lives in the UK. He didn't have space in the suitcase to take the items back, so he put them up for auction. And one of the items that I bid on was their Nelson, which is a repaint of Ollie with the Realm of Collectors on it. And this is the most expensive Ollie I have ever owned or will ever own. It was $252 is what I bid on it, but it was definitely for a worthy cause. And I'm just glad that I was able to contribute to such a worthy cause. And I thought that was really dope to learn about it and then, be able to participate in helping.
That is really cool, and it's fun to have a figure like that because you're always going to think about your charity, and hopefully you helped make somebody's life better with that figure when he's eventually on your shelf.
It is. It will be on my shelf once the museum gets back up and running. But yeah, what was really funny is when I got home and I showed my lady. I told her what I did. I didn't tell. I said I spent a lot on a figure, and I was just kind of showing her the figures. And I said, "Babe, look at this one," and she said, "Okay." And I said, "Yeah, it's Nelson, like Willie." I said, "Like Willie Nelson," and she said, "That does not look like Willie Nelson." And then I was like, I was like, "I think that's what it's supposed to be." And I said, "I spent $252 on it," and she said, I don't know how many expletives she used, and I was like, "Well, this is the one I got for charity." And I could still see that she was like a little peeved, but she was like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
So now you have an out,
man. Well, every other charity is going to be, the Bot Foundation.
Hey, there you go. Just set it up. But that's really cool. I'm glad that you were able to do that, and maybe they'll have something going on next year too. Yes,
I am planning on going.
So why don't we get into some pictures now?
Yeah.
And these are in no particular order. I think they might be in timeline order, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, a little bit, but no particular order. So let's just start off with some toys that you saw, and you saw your wallet go down the drain on this shelf.
Oh man, so I saw this on Thursday. I was in the VIP line to pick up exclusives early, and I saw this and I was just like, damn, I'm done. And we had talked about it. We knew it was coming. Both of them. We knew both of them were coming. The G2 tank is humongous. I don't know where I'm going to put it. It's so big. It's cool. I don't really need it, but it was just like, it's something different from my collection. That ramen toy dead end. Oh man, that paint on that, it is stunning. And then for part of it, when you see the fins on the hood, you see one on my left here is red and the other is gold to match the stripe. I said, oh, that is slick right there. So yeah, I knew I was in. And Fairburn, I think her name is, the character Marissa, I probably got it all wrong, but whatever her name is, how they have her repainted as that for the human Space Force. Yeah, they did an outstanding job on this, so I'm very excited. And yeah, my wallet cussed me out.
And I think it's going to continue to do that.
Oh yeah.
Especially with these, you don't have them yet, but you're going to have 3 or 4 probably of each of these molds after the eventual repaints come out.
Yeah. So shout out to TM Reviews. I was kind of doing security. He was setting up the shelf, and I was, helping a little bit, putting stuff in, or just kind of watching as he had to go grab a couple of things that maybe were forgotten. But yeah, this is really, really cool to see him in person and to handle them a little bit. I can't wait to get these. Yep. They all look really good.
I think they look really cool as well. And I remember you mentioning that the Target Master is all die cast, correct?
Yes. So not only is the paint job on it amazing, when I picked it up, I was like, whoa, that has some heft to it. And yeah, I hope they finish that way with it.
Yeah, I think they will, but we'll see. Hopefully that'll withstand the test of time.
Yeah.
If it's all die cast, that's a little iffy. But next we have some Constructicons, and I know you're excited for these.
I am. The Bone Crusher in particular looks like the best Bone Crusher we've seen from a G1 perspective. I know we have some other renditions of Bone Crusher coming, but I think this one looks really good. And I was surprised. I was very surprised at how well this one looked.
Yeah, I think, getting into the news a little bit, we've talked about this a lot, but I do think this is the best one as well. From a G1 tune perspective, we're not going to get into it, but I do think it looks great. I'm excited to see when you have it and what you think about it.
Yeah. And then the Scrapper or the Scavenger looked really good in in the bot mode and in the arm mode as well. So yeah.
So let's talk about your newest obsession, which is YOLO Park.
Man, that glyph that sold me. I can't lie. It was FOMO. I passed on it initially. I was like, I'm not getting this, and then I ended up buying it on Sunday.
Oh wow!
Like I was not in on it at all, and then I started seeing the pile kind of go down a little bit more, and I was like, I might hate myself if I don't grab this later. And so I ended up grabbing both, and I haven't opened them yet, so it's still not definitive, but I do have them in my collection.
Now, did you get the Sunstorm and Delta Magnus or Delta Convoy?
I did not.
Convoy?
I did not.
Why not? Now you're going to have an incomplete set.
Perfectly fine with that.
You'll get it at the next Botcon. All right, well, next up we have this, which is probably your favorite figure, I'm assuming, that you were able to see and mess with. How cool was it to see the prototype of Orion Pax?
It was cool to see it, and it was the story behind it that got me really excited. So I did have this pre-ordered on a different site, and it was just like, okay, this is a normal everyday pre-order, whatever. It's a cup remold, or repaint and whatever. But then after talking to Haney, who runs Agabus, and hearing the story and what he was trying to do, and then seeing it and seeing the trailer and all the gizmos and gadgets that are going in, I did get really excited. I was just like, you know what, you got me. and then being able to review it and talk about it and all that was really, really cool as well.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you were able to do that, especially get a sneak peek at one of the figures that I think you're probably excited for. You always talk about what is it, the War Dawn? Is that what?
Yes.
That's what it's called, right? You always talk about that episode and how it's one of your favorites. So I know you're probably excited to get this, and you probably have your fingers crossed that they do Ariel and Dion and all of those as well.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so maybe one day. Now let's get into some pictures with fans. And first we have Bruce, which is Saberron Toys, and Marcellus, which that's your Cornhole buddy, correct?
Correct. So on one of the first shorts I did when I got there, towards the end of the video, I ran into Bruce, and we started chatting, and Bruce is a funny dude. We had a really good time that weekend, and shout out to Jonathan and Cameron as well. I did not take pictures with them, but all of us had a really good time together. Bruce loves Astro Train. You'll have to talk to him about that, but he absolutely loves Astro Train. Me and Marcellus, we met, and again, I don't know if he's able to stop yet because my brakes still aren't working. Like I said, they beat the brakes off of us. So, but yeah, it was cool meeting Marcellus as well, and getting to toss around some Energon bags with them. So yeah, really fun.
Next up, we have Andy and Greg.
Yes. So Andy, actually, I was by the exclusives, by the table and everything, and Andy walked by and was just like, I can't remember if he said Bot or Bot versus Con or something like that. And I was just like, who, and so got a chance to talk with him a little bit and take a picture. Greg, I actually met outside. I think my phone was about to die or something like that. I was going back to the hotel and got a chance to talk to him outside for a little bit and take a picture. So really cool shirts on both of them as well.
Yes, I love the Cobra shirt, and is that a jersey? That's the Prime. That's actually really cool. Yeah. I thought it was a hoodie at first, but then I looked at it more. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Ash and Leon.
Yeah. So Ash, I actually met, so again, I didn't know this. The Realm party was a pajama party, so I didn't, of course, have any pajamas. But I ran into Ash in the hotel. I was going to the room and he was leaving, and Ash is a funny guy. He likes to make people feel uncomfortable. So that's what he kind of shared with me at the time. So it was really cool seeing that. And then Leon is like that cool dude who like doesn't say much but is still there and appreciate the drink, my brother. He's really cool with like, and I met him at the Realm party, and then we actually ended up like a big group of us went to a pub afterwards on another day actually, and we kind of chilled and chatted a little bit, but definitely a cool dude.
Yeah. I'm surprised you took a picture with Ash since he is wearing a Power Rangers shirt.
Hey, no judgment.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not wearing it. I'm not wearing the Power Rangers.
I love it though. I thought their costumes were best. I like Sentai. Bobby's just so backwards that he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I'm good.
And you also met Optimus.
This was so dope. So Rocky, who has shared some of his cosplays with us in the past when we done customer appreciation, he did the Blue Angels, for instance. He actually talked to us about the Prime as well, and he had it there. Of course, not knowing what he looked like, I was talking to one of the vendors, and he was actually behind me in a booth, and I turned around and I was like, yo, I gotta look at this Prime. And Rocky was as big of a fan of ours as we are of his with his work, and that was really cool. Not only is this thing amazing, he put it on and wowed the crowd there. Really, really cool. All types of gizmos and gadgets to it. He's working on something real new. James, you're gonna love it. I know you've kind of seen sneak peeks at it. I can't wait for him to share that as well. But yeah, it was really cool, and he sent a message which was really touching for me. He was just like, when he heard that I was going, he said, I made his con. Well, meeting me and meeting the voice of Bumblebee. And so I was just like, that, like, again, that just means so much. And so shout out to Rocky. And I did ask, how much it would cost for him to make a cosplay outfit for you to go around, and it's going to be pink and purple.
How did you know? Better have a tutu as well.
Yes, and heels. So
I don't know if I'll be able to walk in them, but I'll try. Heels, give me thigh-high leather boots. That's what I've got.
Hey, I think you could do it.
Anyways, amazing work, Rocky. This looks phenomenal. I did see your emails. I've just been too busy. Really looking forward to seeing what you have cooking when that's all ready to go. Hope to see you soon, but it's phenomenal. I can't put it into words how cool this is. And the fact that you're a fan of the channel is even cooler. So very talented. You're very talented, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in the future. Yeah,
I can't remember if he says he's going to come to Chicago or not, but hopefully we see him there. I think he lives in North Carolina, and I mean, like I said, that thing had music and sound effects. Oh yeah, it's amazing. But yeah.
So hopefully we see you there. Next up is the panel you are on. So this was the You Rule on YouTube panel, and it has Kyle of Toy Spotlight, Rusty, the Rusty Mechanic Transforms, TM Reviews, Realm of Collectors, Scott, and Ganon. Oh, you had a Legend of Zelda. Ganon Treebot reviews there. And we'll have a link in the description if you want to go ahead and watch this. It is available on YouTube. What was it like being on a panel with your co-host's decapitated head?
It was really exciting, and shout out to Derek and you know for setting this up and inviting me to be on the panel. It was something that you and I had talked about in the past of wanting to do. For me, it's something. I love the diversity on this panel. There was a lot of different voices on there, a lot of different thoughts, and it was really cool to hear. Some people I knew, some people I've seen or I've seen their channel, some people I never heard of their channel, and it's probably the same for me. And so it was great to be able to say, oh, I like what you're doing. Let me go check out your channel. It was really, really cool. And, I wanted to make sure that you were there with me, even in spirit. So yes, I did have a picture of you on a stick, so you could be there with me and share that experience.
And before we get into that, what was it like being in front of a crowd?
I'm used to it. I'm in sales for.
What is it like being in front of a crowd that wants to hear you talk about Transformers?
It's the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same. I'm in sales. I did stand-up comedy for a few years. I'm used to kind of standing in front of people and talking. The questions that came were really cool. I think for me it was a chance for me to be myself. Really, it was just a talking to people. It's talking to like-minded. Actually, this was probably easier because when I did stand-up, I have to try to figure out how to make somebody laugh. Or when I'm in sales, it's like I have an agenda. This was no agenda. It was free Willy. No, we don't want to say free Willy, but it was
the other YouTuber panel at TFCon.
Yeah. It was free reign. There we go. It was free reign.
I was looking for it was humbling, but that works too.
No, it was humbling. Was being asked to be on the panel. That was the thing. Yeah, but once we got up there, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, me and TM Reviews were chatting away. I got to pick at Derek a little bit for holding the mic too long. But it was a lot of fun, and so it was just being part of something that I never thought we would be a part of.
Yep, I agree. And there I am on a pike, and there's Dallas Gallus 2009 and Harry.
Haney.
Yes, I misread that.
Yes. So I had no idea. Well, first off, it was funny because I was talking to Haney, and he had to step away for something, which was fine, and then Dustin came up and he had a question. I think it was about King Toys, if I'm not mistaken. And so we kind of chatted, and then decided to take a picture, and I was like, Haney, get in here. And so he kind of he was photobombing at first, and then I was like, come on and get in here, and I had to bring you in as well. And it was really cool, just again meeting Haney for the first time and chopping it up with him a bit. Really, really cool guy. And then, with Dustin being able to answer some questions based off of experience with Transformers. And like I said, I really think it was on the Kang Toys. And he commented like afterwards on the channel that, he appreciated the advice and stuff. So yeah, that's always really cool.
Yep. That's one of the reasons why we started this channel. So that is very cool to hear that. And here is William as well. And I'm creeping from behind.
Yes. So funny story about William. So Blue was also there, and Blue came dressed in, some Botcon merch, which really appreciate that.
Botcon or Bot versus Con?
Bot versus Con. Goodness, see, it's thank you. Some Bot versus Con merch, and William saw him and thought, "Is that Bobby?" and so Blue texted me about that, and I started laughing. And then shortly thereafter, I actually met William. So a little bit of height difference, but it was really cool. And we were actually talking to Patrick over at Riot Press during this, and so again, just really cool to meet somebody, and glad I was able to take a picture with them.
Speaking of Riot Press, we have Patrick from Riot Press and Last of the Seekers, and Dwayne.
That damn Dwayne. So Dwayne is the one who brought in the Terminator in the game, and see, he also had his daughter with him, and they're killers. They're mercenaries. They're terribly great people. Really nice meeting them, and they we kind of talked and everything, and then we got to the game and they murdered us. It was terrible. I've never lost anything that bad. So God, yes, it hurts. So Dwayne,
someone's salty.
I am, but Dwayne was really cool, and again, I say all this, I'm just serious. It hurts. But it was a lot of fun, and he mentioned that he was a fan, and that was really cool as well. So if you're gonna lose to somebody who at least supports you, so I appreciate that. And Patrick, really good chopping it up with him as well. Had a great opportunity to get him to sign some of the Seekers I bought from him. Got to talk to him about some of his other projects, and he actually worked with Ramen for a spell. They're you'll kind of see them together when they do conventions. Their booths were next to each other, and so it was really cool to kind of see that and hear the backstories and stuff. So he's doing his own thing. He has some new stuff coming out. So yeah, I want to bring him on the channel and pick his brain as well.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I want to know where these Seekers came from.
Yes.
Next up, we have our member Chris, as well as Cedric Robbins 4776 and his son Cedric. I hope I'm reading your notes right, and that's what it's supposed to be, and it's not mixed up. So am I correct?
Chris is actually next to me, and so with the Matrix on, and then Cedric and his son are on the ends. And the story here that was funny is Cedric Jr. He has a Unicron in his hand, a pop Unicron, and he almost bought it at one booth, and then they kind of talked him out of doing it, and he found it at another booth for a little bit cheaper. So he was happy about that, and we were able to chop it up. I think this was on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was Sunday, I don't know, but the blocky contest was actually going on, so I think it might have been Saturday. But it was really cool to kind of again meet a member in person and hang out a little bit and just have some really good conversation as well. So, and I appreciate Jonathan for taking the picture.
Definitely, and always fun to meet members and everybody else. So hopefully I'll be able to meet you at the next one.
Yes.
Next up, we have Mike from Creative Arc and Dragon Alliance. And I believe this is his toy line, correct?
Correct. So he started a webtoon, and again, somebody else I'd like to bring onto the channel. Excuse me. I met his wife first, and that was really cool. His wife is funny, and she reminds me of our better halves, so this couple reminds me of us, as well. They have an idea, they're trying to grow the idea, they're doing different things to grow the idea, and it's a good product. It looks like it's going to going to be successful. So we started chatting. Me and his wife actually started chatting, and then come to find out, he actually knew, he was familiar with the channel, which again was kind of cool. And she called him over. I had to go do something or whatever, and she was manning the booth. He was doing something, and so I came back around, and we had a chance to meet and talk, and we really hit it off the whole weekend. And so they'll be in Chicago as well. So I look forward to hanging out with them again in Chicago, and again seeing if we can bring him on the show as well to talk about it. I did talk to some people in Atlanta, and I kind of have a little surprise for him when we do talk.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah.
All right, well, why don't we just kind of switch gears a little bit and go into Joe Fest, because you were also at Joe Fest, so we're not going to describe that. I think you talked about that a lot. No, do you have another?
No. Yeah. So now the Botcon's done, even though I have the shirt on. Okay, so then we get in Joe Fest mode.
So let's go to Joe Fest, and we've got Todd and Ace. So, how was it like to meet Ace again at Joe Fest?
It was funny. I was actually talking to Ace, just saying hi. I had just got there on Saturday, and we were talking about some of the figures. I had seen the shark, and I was planning on purchasing it and everything. And next thing you know, I was showing off some of the other stuff that they were doing. And you can see on the picture with me and Todd, you can see the black flat piece almost on the table. That's the bridge layer. So yes. They were going through Ace was giving a demo of the bridge layer, and Todd heard me say something. He says, I heard that voice before. And so he realized, again, fan of the channel, that it was me. And I'm sitting here selling the product for ramen, I'm talking about how cool this stuff is and what it does and this, that, and the other. And Darren, I hope his name is Darren. I hope I got that right. Ace's partner, I saw him kind of look over at Ace, like, this dude is like selling the stuff for us, and it was I was just excited to see him, because like I said, they do really good products and stuff. So, shout out to Ace and Ramen Toy. And then Todd, it was kind of cool that somebody was able to recognize me with my back turned and because of my voice. I've always hated my voice. So it was kind of cool for somebody to say, I recognize that voice.
Yeah, it's especially at Joe Fest too.
Yes.
So that's very cool.
Yes.
And this guy has an amazing name. Here we have James, who we took a picture with. But I have to say something before you get into it. What the heck are you doing wearing that shirt with those shorts? That is such a bad color combination.
The shorts are like a khaki color.
Khaki with neon green?
I mean, it's a neutral color.
If you wear this around when I'm there, we ain't gonna be seen together. Continue. Fair warning.
We are not going to be seen together, man. Well, actually, the next time I see you will be in Chicago, and it might be cold for short. So, I'm gonna get some.
Better not be khaki pants.
I'm gonna get some khaki sweats or something like that. No, it was really cool. So this is James, and he recognized. He came. This is also the Chosen Prime booth. You can see in the background there. Brandon was actually sitting in the chair, and he kind of like dipped out real quick. So I was like, you could get in the picture, but he didn't. He chose not to. He's also a fan of the show. He was, he talked about both of us. He highlighted some of the things that we talk about on the show, and he was a happy fan. Like I was shocked again to see somebody at Joe Fest that was such a fan of Transformers, and so. He actually asked if they were selling Transformers at the booth, and that's why I asked Brandon when we talked with him if they were planning on bringing Transformers to Joe Fest next time. But yeah, it was really cool seeing him as well and meeting him. And then there's another damn James out there.
We're multiplying. Very cool, though. Love your name, and I love the shirt, too. So hopefully you'll be at a TFCon or something, and I'll be able to meet you there.
Yeah.
Now let's get into probably your most anticipated thing from this whole episode, and that are these Acid Rain World figures. I know you're into 6-inch figures more than anybody else, and you can't wait to get your hands on these.
I took a picture of this. These are actually really cool. So it's 4 figures, and so it's them posed one way in the front and then another way in the back, and these look really, really cool. I'm very curious about what this line's going to do. I'm really curious to see what they look like in color. There's one that had a skull face. The one on the far right, I believe, has a skull face, like a skull mask, and I thought about Jude would really like this. But yeah, they're really, really cool looking. A lot of articulation, as you can see with some of the poses, and the weapons and everything. So I was just like, yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't figure it out, I was sarcastic. He doesn't like 6-inch figures. Acid Rain is a line that I actually really liked, but they did 3 3/4 inch figures, so like G.I. Joes, and I was out. This is much more tempting. I have to see the price and all that, because they came with mechs, and the mechs would transform and do some really, really cool stuff. The shading's great on them. They just didn't fit with my collection. I'm not really collecting anything else other than like a few Venom figures here and there, as far as toys go. So I don't know if I would be on this, but I'm very curious and very interested because they looked like they were very high quality. Not these ones, the original ones. These probably will look the same.
And these are in partnership with Fex Hobby as well. That was the other thing.
That's their own company? Fex Hobby? I thought that was part of Fans Hobby.
So I thought so initially as well, but yeah, I'm seeing like Fex Hobby has their own line of stuff that doesn't associate with Fans Hobby. So could be same owner and different brand name, but I don't know. But yeah, Fex Hobby is its own thing.
Awesome. Well, I'll be looking forward to this. And next up, we have the exclusives, and we have a case. And I think you have a video that you want to play. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, here it is.
What's going on, Bot vs. Clown fans? This is Bobby the Bot, and I'm here at Joe Fest. This is the Chosen Primes booth, and this is one of their displays. This looks really great. Just to give you a little bit of insight on the figures. So these are actually, the buggies are actually up on the site right now for pre-order. They should be available coming really soon, probably in July. And here we have the missile launcher. This is an add-on kit, and this should be available in October, I believe. But you can actually have it mounted onto the buggies, which is really, really cool there. Here's the helicopter, and I apologize, I don't know the names of these vehicles at all. But you can see that it's twirling on its own, which is really, really cool. This should be available, I believe he said, in October. And then we can move over to this side, and these are the exclusives.
60 on it or 70.
And these look amazing. There's only a few left, actually. You can see the green original color. Now, I don't know how it's coming through on camera, but the transition, this one might be a little bit better, but you can see the yellow and how it transitions into kind of like that mustard color for the eyes and the teeth there. This looks really amazing here. We can also see there's lights in the back. It's not on right now. There's some music playing as well. You can see the lights on the side here, right there. Those flash as well. This is a great diorama as well. This diorama may start looking familiar in future videos, if you know what I mean. And then here's something else that's coming out, And this is Acid Rain World by Fex Hobby. So if you've ever seen any of the dioramas that Fex Hobby does, they're partnering with Acid Rain World. And this is Thane. You can see the front and back. War Banner, him kneeling as well as standing up. Proteus, a couple of pictures there. And Skull Welder. Look at the detail on these guys. These are awesome. So again, this is Bobby the Bot at the Chosen Prime booth. Signing off. All right, so in the video, you'll see the 3 different dioramas. Shout out to Get Right Robot. He designed these dioramas. They're amazing. The first one being the wood scenes, or like the forest jungle-ish scenes. This one being the like kind of like a sand or desert scene, and then we've already talked about the 6-inch figures as well. The real cool thing about this is that I now own these dioramas. Now I don't own the vehicles or the figures inside of them, but that forest scene in particular, that is going to be my Dinobot Island scene.
Oh, so you didn't get the figures inside of it?
No, I did not get the figures inside of it.
Oh, okay. What?
Yeah. No, I'm not starting a G.I. Joe collection. Cannot afford to do that. Now, the only problem I have is I don't know where I'm going to put these displays at.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm literally going to have to do something very creative to get these up and running. But yeah, the lighting on them was great, and the acrylic cases are great. So yeah, I'm really excited. And even the signage, the Fans Hobby signage, I'm actually in works, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to get us some Bot versus Con signage. So
awesome.
And when we get that done, then I'll go ahead and we'll talk about that on the channel as well.
So stay tuned for that.
Yes.
But here are some more exclusives. You had the Tiger Force jet thing, which looks phenomenal, especially with the white on the tip. I don't remember seeing that. And then we have another helicopter, which I believe was Destro's helicopter. I could be wrong.
That might be it.
I don't know. Either which way, very cool stuff.
Yeah, and as you saw in the video, the helicopter has the propellers spin by themselves, so that was really cool. I was like, oh, it's like battery powered. I like gimmicks. And then they wanted to show, since they wanted to show what the original was, and it was funny because a fan of these vehicles came up and actually said, I don't think people understand just how big these are. And so the Chosen Prime borrowed at another booth, they had the OG helicopter, I don't know the name of it, and they put the Fans Hobby version next to it so you can see the size difference.
Yeah, that's quite the difference right there.
Yeah.
So, well, it was an eventful 2 weekends. Was it one weekend after another for you for conventions? Let's wrap this up. What do you have to say about these conventions?
I will be going next year. I've already kind of talked it out. Now, Bot versus Con, Botcon. The dates have not been announced for Botcon next year. I know they were talking about maybe in May or maybe in September. Hopefully, if it's in September, hopefully it's when my daughter's out of school. If it's in May, I think she will be out of school, so that would be great. But I do plan on going. We don't know the location either, so hopefully it's in like Memphis or something like that, something close for me. That would be great. And then Joe Fest, I will be going back to Augusta. Has some good food out there too, so I was very surprised. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to both of them, and hopefully you can join me for one or both.
I was gonna say, hopefully next year they'll be in the cards. Very cool, very fun. I wish I was there, but I should be at the next one, so stay tuned for that. And we'll be back with more news very soon. And I think we'll have an extra special review coming up sometime soon as well, so stay tuned for that.
Definitely. As always, to all debates are one. Thanks for joining my travels to these conventions.